Today we're going to talk about the top 3 things you need to know when buying a vacation rental in the Palm Springs area. My name's Tommy Jordan, your Palm Springs area realtor, of course. Drew Hopkins,
Hi.
property manager extraordinaire. This is going to be a very important video. These are some of the most frequently asked questions we get when helping people buy homes like this $1 million home every day. By the way, you could actually rent this one with the link down below, so don't miss out on the chance to stay at this property. Let's get into the video. The first thing we need to discuss is where is the best place to buy a vacation rental in the Palm Springs area. This is one of the most common questions we both get. And what I would say with this is, 1, let us do the research, and number 2, just if you would like to just know, here's just a free tidbit. Palm Springs and Indio, they're really the hotbeds right now because the cities allow short-term rentals. Now there's lots of, nuances within Palm Springs. There's a cap on nightly stays. Indio, you could go gangbusters. So then we look at cities like La Quinta and Palm Desert that don't really allow it, but then you could look at places in La Quinta like PGA West Signature, for example, or places in Palm Desert like Desert Falls Country Club. So what I would say is come to us because we could really, depending on really your price range, what you want to spend on HOA or not spend on HOA, will help us really to find the best location for you. And even some country clubs, Drew, have maybe a thousand homes in that country club. And we could then help you find the best location within the country club.
Exactly.
Where do you want to be on the fairway? Do you not want to be on the fairway? Do you want to be west facing to see the San Jacinto Mountains? All these things are very important. Anything else you'd like to add to that about location?
I think you touched on something. A lot of people that are new to the area don't realize how many HOAs are down here, right? Just about any place you're going to buy in. There are exceptions, mostly in the city of Palm Springs, but just about any place you're going to buy in one of the other cities down here is going to be in an HOA. So you are going to want to make sure that first you're in a residential area that allows short-term rentals, or you're in an area that's zoned commercial tourism like some in La Quinta that allow it. Then, of course, on top of that, you want to make sure that the HOA allows short-term rentals and not just long-term rentals. So again, that can be hard to figure out, but leave the work, to the professionals. Tommy knows this area and knows it really well. And, again, this is the last, few deals, 5 or 6 deals we've done in the last few months. Literally, someone's gotten a hold of him. He has said to me, "Hey, Drew, what do you think about this?" And I've been able to, within minutes, go online and say, well, this is in a neighborhood of Palm Springs that is over that 20% cap, so you don't want to buy there if you're going to use it as an income. Or, hey, no, if they're looking at this in this place in Indio, this is in an HOA that allows short-term rentals and is even set up well for short-term rentals, and yada, yada, yada. So I would say that's, you want the people that aren't going to just, how many times have people bought in a place because the realtor said, oh yeah, you can rent it out, and then they weren't allowed to rent it out. So again, honesty is important, and you can rely on Tommy to lead you in the right direction, and me too. So
that's one of the biggest things why I work with Drew, is because he's honest. He'll tell you the truth up front.
Ditto.
Because we want you to, so good. We want you to be in business long term and to be successful. And something interesting.
And we're good guys too. We want what's best for everybody out there,
I love this guy. Because it's really important, because say, I don't have ego in this, right? Because I know great neighborhoods, locations, but Drew comes with, that's why we work well together, and that's why it's important, I think, to find a realtor, if it's not us, but it's gonna be us, that's why you're watching, that has a good relationship with a property management company. Because, if he tells me, Tommy, that might be a great neighborhood, but Tommy, there's a better neighborhood for that price point, for specifically short-term rentals, here's why, then I'm like, let's do it. Because I'm not trying to be right here. Neither of us are. We're trying to make you money. And that's an important thing, having a team that really has your best interest in mind.
And I'm going to piggyback on that and toot his horn for him a little bit. We recently had a deal where the person was approved for twice as much of a property. And because we both felt like it was the right thing for this guy to buy a lot less home, you know, Tommy, yeah, he could have gotten, you know, more commission off of selling a house twice as more expensive, but he wanted what was best for the person, and we got this guy into another property. And yeah, this guy's going to be a client for life. He's going to send, I'm sure, other friends to us, and he's going to be able to buy more properties because he did this right. But, you know, this isn't some, you know, money grab here where we want you to you know, just lose your shirt and it doesn't matter, hey, take our commission and go away. That's not what it's about. So I had to put that in there for you because people need to know that about him. So.
Thanks, Drew.
Okay.
The second question we get all the time is how much will a certain property make? And now there's a lot of things that go into that, okay? Because you have things like HOA, you have your utility costs.
Right.
Does the home have solar? Does it not have solar? So what would you tell someone, Drew, when, say we see a certain property, for example, right? Like, let's say we helped our favorite Canadian client, I'm sure she's watching, a few months ago. We found this great community in actually Monterey Country Club in Palm Desert. Now, what would you say when she said, for example, what is this property going to make me? How would you address that question? What would you say?
The first thing that, and again, this goes to something we talked about in another video of ours, was this person. Hi, how are you? Love her. She's great. You know, I wanted to make sure that she was being realistic with her expectations, and we had to have a conversation about that. And actually, you know, they were willing to, you know, maybe put a lot of money into the place. And I went into the place. I said, we don't have to do that much.
It was already sort of set to go.
Exactly. So we put some new furniture and again some freshen the decor a little bit with that and everything like that. But you know, so. And there's still room to do some stuff later down the line, but I wanted them to be able to get it up and running and making money for them. So, but again, the realistic is a big part of that. And so I will always be honest with people. And in fact, I might actually be.
You do more conservative.
I tend to be a little bit more conservative. Yes,
I'd rather some of the bigger companies.
Yes,
because I'll tell you, and this is just like realtors. So watch out for those realtors. You know what?
Not
they
this
do?
one, but the other
Not
ones.
this. But you'll say, oh, how much do you think my house is worth? And they know really it's 900,000, but they'll tell you 970 or $1 million to tickle your ear, and then they get the listing. And for them, you just get a bunch of listings, and it brings more listings and buyers, and so eventually they know they'll have to come to you in 60 days and get a price reduction, but hey, it's just the cost of doing business. But I prefer not to waste anyone's time. So you'll have this with a lot of property managers, and plus it hurts your listing. You end up making a lot less than if you just priced it right. That's a whole nother video. But a lot of property managers, they will tell you a higher nightly rate so they can get your business, and then they already have all the keys, the digital codes, your thermostats, the net, they're already logged into everything.
Already getting all their extra fees and all that kind of stuff from you.
Managing your accounts, and so it's a lot to then like detach from them. So whenever I've worked with you, Drew, you'll actually give more conservative numbers than some of my clients have received from other providers. And why do you do that?
Well, again, it's about being honest and being realistic, and I'd much rather have people be pleasantly surprised than unpleasantly surprised by how low they're doing, and again, you know, I wouldn't even call it being brutally honest, but just realistic and being honest, and as it turns out, you know, who we're talking about over in Monterey Country Club, her place is doing well and surpassing expectations, and thus far this property is surpassing expectations. And I'm all for that. I love that, but I wanted also them to be aware that, you know, they are getting into a market that has a lot of competition, and they need to be mindful of that. And so and again, you know, people have to know that they're being taken care of and that they can trust the person that is giving them the information. And I'm not a yes man. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? And I know you're the same way. And it might not always be what you want to hear, but again, it's what's going to help you succeed, because we know the market's down here. And I know that depending on the time of year that we list the new property, okay, we can list it at that much, or we can do this. And again, if you're being realistic and seeing this as a more of a longer term thing, let's spend the first year getting in the reviews, getting the calendar filled up, getting our market share up so we're higher on the search positions, our reviews are rave reviews, and then we can tick up the price a little bit more, and then we can get more people in there, and you're slowly getting out of the red a little bit. I know we're going to talk about that too, but we can definitely, that's what we want to do, and it's all about being realistic, and that's what I would tell people. Again, depends on the property, and I can give a very close number and prospectus to people, but it might not be what they're hoping for or what they want, but it's real, and that's what you want, is real.
This is really good, because I think with nightly rates and what can a property earn in a year, it's an easy number just to give out to someone, but when you really unpack it, talking about the strategy for the first year, maybe doing a little less on the numbers to get more reviews, so then you come in swinging for the next year.
Right.
Maybe we need to not list the property right away because we need to paint and do these little touches, but that will affect this year's earnings, but then the next few, it's going to help you earn a lot more.
Exactly.
So there's a lot more to it than just it's like when people work with my lenders and I would just give me the lowest interest rate, and they don't go with my lender, which is fine. I don't make any money if you work with Drew or not, but I just know he's one of the best, and I work with the best people because I want you to have the best experience and make the most money for your rental income. But people will go to a different lender who gives them the lowest interest rate.
What they want to hear.
They want to hear, but then come closing, oh, guess what? I had to buy points. Oh, there's all these other fees involved. Oh, he's this, and the loan is loaded up with all these costs that they don't see right up front. And then it ends up costing them a lot more in the long run than if they really hoard the whole story. So I think it's about really seeing the whole picture, whole picture, and really learning that this is a business, and you got to work with people who understand the business and that could help articulate this to you, so who
know the business and who want you to be as successful in the business as they want to be successful.
Exactly.
And okay, maybe we're charging $150 less a night in the beginning, but we're booking more nights, so that's going to come back to you. It's a numbers game. There's just so much more than just giving you a number, and I think, and I understand people want the number, they want to see that, but again, there's so much more, and if you let the experts do what they do best, you will be doing well and you will be successful. And I'm not saying that's not, I love the input from the clients. They look at the calendar. Should we be more? Should we add? Should we have a higher minimum nightly rate? Or should we do this? And I say, well, maybe, but here's what I have.
It's good. It's the dialogue, the conversation.
We're a team,
it is a team with us and you, and just brainstorming and putting things out there, and that's important to have those kind of conversations, because when our clients are upset, say, or have concerns, and then they don't air these thoughts to us, then we can't tell you, oh, this is why it's happening this way, or this is why I'm going with this strategy, this approach. So it's about getting everyone, really on the same table or on the same wavelength, so we could all do this successfully. Before we go into the third point, if you're looking to buy a vacation rental in the Palm Springs area, we're helping people seriously do this like every single day. My contact information is down below. Also, Drew's contact information is down below. We would love to help you find you an incredible property like this, a condo. We do all price ranges,
all shapes and sizes,
and all across
budgets.
The valley. So let's get into the third point. Okay, this is important. People ask this all the time. How long will it take to see that return on that income or that investment?
Sure.
How long will it take for that money to come back home?
Get out of the red.
Get out of the red and into the black.
So obviously my priority, or one of my priorities, is to help you get out of the red as quickly as possible. But at the same time, again, I'm going to use this term, realistic. People have got to be realistic. Now, and it also depends, of course, on many factors, whether you are paying cash for the property, whether you have a loan, what your rates are, all that kind of stuff. But I would tell you, and I said this earlier in a different video about the capital and having enough, I would tell you that you should expect to go at least the first year, if not the full second year, but I'd say about 12 to 18 months.
Wow.
Before, I mean, yeah, money will come in, but it might not be getting you out of the red.
Yeah.
Now, there are some exceptions to that, and I've seen that happen. But again, to be realistic, expect at least a year before you are truly making money out of the red, pay off the whatever you had to do to the place and everything like that. And again, there are always exceptions to the rule. But it doesn't mean because it's not making you money overnight that it's not a good investment. But it's definitely not an overnight money making scheme, I would say. People need to know that. I think a lot of people came and bought down here thinking they were going to make money super quick, and they're just not. And the market is. And this isn't a bad thing because I think strong, stiff competition is good. But the market is much more saturated down here than it was a few years ago. So there's a lot more competition. There's a lot more properties for rent. And so to get off the ground and do that, we're going to have to be a lot more competitive with the pricing and everything like that. And it's going to take a little bit longer. But again, I wouldn't be in business. You wouldn't be in business if people weren't making money. In just the past few months, what has it been? 5 or 6 deals. We've helped people buy places.
Yes.
And it's a good place to park your money as long as you're realistic about the expectations and the investment and how long it will take to pay off.
When you work with professionals, you treat this like a business.
Right.
It's really, like he said, we want our businesses wouldn't be booming if making money with vacation rentals wasn't a reality.
Right.
Like
it just has to be done right.
It has to be done right, and if you do it right, you could stand out in that crowd.
You're
but
golden.
If you don't,
I mean, how many? But the majority of my clients own multiple properties, as you know, because you've helped them buy, and that's what it's all about. But you've got to start small, and you've got to start smart.
Exactly.
And realistically, you don't necessarily start small. I shouldn't say that.
No, but I like what you're saying because even if you could spend $2 million, should you spend $2 million?
Right.
For some of our clients, we've helped $2-3 million makes sense. But really, other times, they could spend 2 or 3, but spending 1.2 or 1.4 makes more sense to have reserves, or because the property needs a lot of, painting, floors. So every situation's so different.
For Southern California, this is still one of the areas where you can actually get a lot of bang for your buck, okay, and actually make money. But again, that has changed a little bit. So the game has changed a little bit. So people have to be mindful of that. But there's still money to be made here if you do it right. Yeah,
and that's the thing. In the last few years, during when the sickness came, YouTube doesn't like that word.
Oh, gotcha.
You got to watch out for YouTube. During that time, they bought these homes, vacation rentals with mortgages. Rental rates were through the roof. They based all their calculations and everything off the carrying cost, off these high rental rates. And now you see a lot of people selling because you weren't working with an honest property manager who said, this is, like a black swan event. This is a 1 in a million kind of thing with the sickness going on. That's why rates are double or whatever. But let's look at the last 10 years and see what rates have done historically. Right. And it's important. No, it is important. There's a lot of places in Palm Springs that have really had that happen where, maybe at one point they were getting $700 to $800 a night, and now those same places are getting $400 to $500 a night. And a lot of people, they can't afford to shoulder that extra responsibility, and they've had to unload them or trying to unload them. Which, with people thinking this is an easy money grab, with people, the carrying cost, with they bought at this time, that's why I think there's just so much opportunity in this right now going further. And you might hear people say, vacation rentals down and this and that. And nightly rates are down for where they once were. But if you do this right, buy right, you're going to be making money. Well, and this is always going to be a tourist destination too. This isn't an area that's going to not be popular with snowbirds and everything. I mean, there's always going to be people coming to this area. But again, I would just want people to understand that it's not an overnight thing. And I want them to be able to
do this and understand that it's not going to come back to them right away, but it will come back to them.
Please reach out to us below and have a great night. Thanks for watching, or day.